Day two of CAA Football Media Day, coming off a successful day one. And for the media members who weren't able to log on yesterday, if you would like to get the recordings from yesterday's press conferences, they're available on caasports.com. For the media members who are with us today, if you have questions for the coaches or student athletes at any point, just use the chat feature, the raise your hand icon, and we'll get those questions into them as quickly as we can. We're happy to be joined to start off day two by the Campbell Camels, head coach Braxton Harris, running back Mark Biggins, linebacker Logan Livermon. Good morning, guys.
Morning, Rob. Thanks for having us.
Thanks for being here. Excited to get another season started. And Coach, I'll start with you. 3-9 a year ago, your first year in the league, but a little deceiving because of the number of close games you guys were in. What did you learn from last year that you can take into year two?
Yeah, I mean, we learned we weren't good enough. 3-9 is not good enough, and we've got to be better. And I think that's something that these two guys went to work in the offseason. We understand what the league looks like. We understand what every opponent. We had the 10th toughest schedule in all of college football last year. And so, like these guys that you're sitting here talking to, they know what the best of the best in FCS college football looks like. And that's the exciting thing is we got to see it, and we got to see about ourselves and learn about ourselves and learn where we had to go get better. And we as a group collectively with these guys, coaches, staff, organization, we had to come together and we had to find ways to get better at those things. And what we figured out is that all those little things matter and they lead up to that spot. And so that's what we got to go in January and go to work for. Football season is not the start of anything. Football season is the next phase. We've been working at being competitive and being a championship level team in the CAA since January. And so the thing we learned is we know exactly what the competition looks like. We have it on film. There's nothing to hide from. You can't run from it. It is what it is. We know what we had to get better at. We went to work to do that. Now we got to see if we're good enough this year.
Mark, what has been the focus among in the locker room? I'm just building off what Coach said coming off last year. What has been the motivation, I guess, through the offseason workouts, and how excited are you to get going?
I'd say that the motivation has just been, we need to be more connected, we need to be more disciplined, and those are the two things that, they show up in games, they show up in the wins and loss totals. And I'd say that for me, I'm just most excited to have this team show the CAA, show the nation, how connected we are, how disciplined we are. And then when it comes to the talent, that's going to speak for itself on Saturdays. And I'm just grateful for this opportunity that we get.
Logan, what do you feel like, just building off that, what do you feel like the biggest thing is that your group needs to do to take it to the next level and turn things around this season?
Yeah, I think Coach Harris touched on it. I mean, I feel like we in the past, I mean, I've been here for 5 years, so a lot of the teams I've been with previously, we've struggled with a lot of camaraderie. We've always had the talent here at Campbell, but we never had the connections with each other. And I think that's something we're really been focused on and dialed in on a lot this year. And, I'm really excited to see how that translates to the field. I think Coach Harris and the coaching staff has done like a really good job bringing in the right guys. That way in the locker room, in the hallways, we're always like willing to have good conversations with each other. It's always a fun time. And I think that's something new at Campbell that we haven't had previous years. So,
all right. For media members on the line, if you have questions for Coach Harris or either the student athletes here this morning, as I said, just use the raise your hand feature or the chat, and we'll get those questions in. Coach, I want to go back with you and start breaking down the team a little bit offensively. You've got some dynamic skill guys back, starting with Mark and Randall King at receiver. Mike Chandler saw some time at quarterback. Talk about the offense a little bit and the potential of that group.
Yeah, I mean, I think what you said is exactly right. We've got a lot of potential. Having Mark and losing Mark like we did last year for half the season with a broken hand, that really hurt our offense and productivity and consistency that we're able to do. So getting Mark back and keeping Mark healthy through a season, that's a big piece. He's worked his tail off with our strength staff to be able to take care of his body, to be able to prepare for the season. That's going to be really big. Randall King, man, that guy's worked his tail off. A lot of times people think about receivers and they think, well, these guys don't work. Randall King's a kid that was a true freshman that came in here, and he lifted 4 times a week during the football season. And I think that was one of the reasons you saw him have success towards the latter part of the season. He lifted the Devo lift every single week, and he developed himself, and he's been able to continue to be able to do that. Then you look at Mike. I think Mike is one of the most explosive, exciting players in the CAA, and we're excited to be able to see him continue to expand his role within our offense. And we just got to find ways to get the ball into those guys' hands. But the big thing is those guys up front on the offensive line. I mean, you look at out of those guys, I mean, 4 out of 5 of those guys that potentially we could run out there the first week against Rhode Island, those guys were here last fall. But you say, well, that's great, Braxton, but they weren't here the year before. We had just gotten those guys in June, right? They didn't even know where Walmart was. By the time fall camp started. And so now these guys have gone through a fall together, those trials and tribulations that the fire brings, right? They've gone through a spring ball, they've gone through a training, they've gone through 8 weeks in the summer, and then they get to go through a fall camp. And that's the exciting piece is the core is growing. We knew we had to grow a core, and the only way you grow a core is find guys that want to be here. And on the offense, I think our guys done a great job. I'm excited about our offense. I think our offense can be able to stretch people laterally and vertically. And I think that's something I'm excited to see them go do this fall.
How much different it has been for you? Last year, you come in and you're still learning guys. I know you've been in Campbell before, but the learning your team and they're learning you. How much smoother has year 2 been as you've kind of started your ramp up for the year?
Yeah, I mean, probably the first thing is the exciting thing is everybody chose Campbell, right? Like since we got here with the transfer portal, probably 85% of our rosters turned over since I walked in the front door in that spot. And so what it's made guys do, like a Logan that's been here in that spot, but he had to make a choice. Do I want to be a part of this? Do I want to be part of this program? Do I see Campbell as this opportunity? And then you're able to bring guys like Mark that are able to come in there, and they chose Campbell. They ran to this opportunity. And I think kind of what you saw is those guys have already alluded to is that everybody that comes to Campbell sees Campbell as an opportunity, right? And when you see something as an opportunity, you're grateful for it. When you're grateful for something, you walk in the door, you work differently. The things that you go through, they're not have to, they're get tos. And when you do that, it makes a heck of a lot more fun to go to work every day. These guys are a blast to be able to come and work. I've had more fun since January coaching this group of guys because, man, they don't talk. They don't all that other stuff that we don't need. They know what matters, and they just go to work, and they love each other, and they work their tail off, and they're fun to be around every day.
Mark, Coach talked about some of the injuries you had to battle through last year, but you still ran for over 400 yards, 3 touchdowns. Are you back to 100%? And just kind of building on what Coach said, how much smoother in year 2 of this offense is it for you guys?
Yeah, last year it definitely was a struggle going through my injuries that I had, but this year I would say that I'm 110%, man, and I'm ready to go. And you can expect to see longer runs, more touchdowns, and everything like that. As far as our offense, Coach Harris already touched on the O-line and just being able to have those guys in for a second year, and it's going to be after a year of just playing with one another. And O-line is one of those positions where you got to have chemistry. And I think that I know that those guys have that now. And then you have all the explosive pieces on the outsides with our receivers that we have, and then having somebody like Mike Chandler and me too to finish it off. I believe that we'll be one of the most explosive offenses in the country.
How fun is it playing with a guy like Mike that can create so much, not only with his arm, but his legs?
Mike just makes the game easier, man. He makes the game easier for all of us. And that's as simple as I can put
it. He doesn't make it for Logan in practice every day, though. It makes Logan's life harder in practice. That's for sure.
Yeah, okay.
Coach, let's flip over to that defensive side. You got a couple of the top tacklers back. Logan's back, and some guys with JoJo Pace and Brandon. And talk about your defense, the guys you have back, and maybe some guys that you've brought in that might make an impact for you this year.
Yeah, it's kind of a different build on the defensive side of the ball, right? Offensively, we had that core with our offensive line and like the guys like Randall and those guys. We had to build in January. We had a couple guys like Logan, Brandon Guzman, JoJo, Lakeem Rudolph, those guys that were holdovers that were in that piece. And so we had those to build around. Probably the most impressive thing I'm most excited about is our defensive line, being able to build that room. We got most of those guys in January. I thought our coaching staff did a phenomenal job of targeting the right fits for us. At Campbell, we believe in speed. We believe in speed and strength, right? Like you got to have both of those pieces. And so we want to be active with our defensive line, and it starts with those guys. I thought the defensive line that we built is really a talented, probably the deepest defensive line that we've had in a long time here at Campbell. I think will be a big piece of that. We had to go into the summer and fill in a couple more pieces with the secondary to be able to add those aspects. But you just talked about, I think we're more experienced than we were last year on the defensive side of the ball. And then you also talk about just the continuity. They played together in the springtime. Year two of understanding the defense and playing in the defense is going to help those guys quite a bit. But man, I'm really excited to see that front three guys get after it and be able to compete. They're going to make things a lot easier. We got some corners with Brandon Guzman coming back that played for us a lot. That can be able to protect us on the edges, and Marquise Alexander, that I think is a transfer that I think will help us as well. That allow us to be able to compete on the edges, and then you got to be able to stop the run. That's the big thing we said at the end of football season. We got to be able to stop the run. If you don't stop the run, you don't win football games. You look at the football games that. Against the Richmonds, against the William and Marys, against the Rhode Islands, really good football teams. What gave us an opportunity to win those games is we were really good against the run, and we gave ourselves a chance. We got to do that for 12 weeks this next year, and that's the thing we're striving for is the consistency with those groups.
Logan, last year, first year as a starter for you, third on the team with 63 tackles. What are some of your goals and expectations coming into the season?
Well, I think my goals, we've kind of been doing that is just growing a defense that, with guys that I could trust. We had a few guys leave, but with guys like JoJo Pace and Lakeem Rudolph, having those guys there with me has helped all of us kind of take control of this defense and kind of like help build something that I don't think we've had here in a long time here at Campbell. For personal goals, though, I mean, I want to get my name out there more. I want to show the CAA that I can compete well and show that I could be a big dog out there. All CAA honors and stuff like that. But most importantly, I want to go out there and just win games. This is my last year. I just want to go out there and win, have a good time for my last season, and just help bring guys up, and help bring us all together. So those are my goals.
Got a question this morning from Chris. Go ahead, Chris. Good to see you.
Hey, good to see you. Good to see you guys. Good to see you, Coach. Coach, you mentioned the really tough schedule last year, top 10 in the nation. This year, you have your first half of the schedule. You have the preseason favorites on the road, a couple of SoCon teams that were in the top 25 last year, and two FBS teams. If you could talk about the first half and how difficult that schedule is and the disadvantages and advantages of playing it.
Yeah, I mean, last year we ended with the 10th toughest schedule in college football, and we dropped all the way down to the 35th preseason this year. So we got to breathe there, right? That's what they tell you, right? I mean, we got to relieve, right? That's why I came to Campbell, right? So that's why these guys come to Campbell is they want to play the best. This is not a league where there's not a cupcake. There's not an easy game. We're not a program that's going to buy wins. We're going to go compete every single week, and that's the exciting thing about being at a place like Campbell. That our administration, with our president Dr. Downs, our athletic director Hannah Bazemore, they want to go compete at the highest level, and you can't compete at the highest level if you're not playing the highest level. And so that's something for us. I mean, we get excited. I mean, you open up with Rhode Island on the road at home. We're excited to be able to go and measure ourselves right out the gate against the defending conference champion at their place, back-to-back years. People say, "Man, it's tough, back-to-back years." So what? Who cares? That's the schedule. Go play it. Put the ball down. Let's go play. And then we ease up next week going to play ECU, right? And so you don't get any weeks off. Then you come back with a Furman team that's a good SoCon team, and then you come back with Bryant in that spot, and then Western Carolina. There's no easy games. But the cool thing is we had the 10th toughest schedule last year in year one. We didn't have some of the characteristics that we knew we needed to have to win football games in the fourth quarter. And if you look at the record, you look at who was in ball games, we were in ball games. Do you get points for winning ball games? Do you get credit for being close to ball games? No, you don't get any credit. But what you do, you know who you are. We know who we have here at Campbell. We know we have the resources to be able to win in the CAA. And for us, we get to go find out every week. This is not a league that you have to look and measure at the polls and look at who your strength of schedule is and how is this favorable win over this. This is a league that is strong enough to stand on its own, and we don't have to worry about all those things. All we have to do is worry about the next opponent.
Before I let you guys go, Logan and Mark, just give us a little scoop. Coach talked about all the new guys and new faces on the town. Give me a guy on offense for you, Mark, and a guy on defense, Logan, that are a couple of guys that fans need to keep an eye out on that you've been really impressed through workouts in the spring and the summer.
You asking for a new guy, or you asking?
Yeah, just or maybe a returning guy that really is, has stepped up and you think is going to make a big impact.
Well, I'll just touch on an entire group. I'm going to say my O-line. Just be on the lookout for every single one of those guys up front.
All right, Logan, how about on defense?
For me, I would go back to what Coach Harris was saying. The defensive line, I'm super excited about. This group of guys that we have here are the most connected group of guys that I've seen here in a while. And I think that's super important, especially at the linebacker position. It makes my job easy. So I'm definitely super excited about the defensive line core.
All right. Coach Harris, Mark.
Perfect answers. They didn't give away anything, did they, Rob? I love it, man.
Nothing. That's you coached them up well. Braxton, Logan, Mark, thanks